Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. Over there's Diamond Dave Damone. This is the Appleton Oak. That's the answer. I'm Mason Quinn. Folks, today we are taking a look at Chernobyl. This is episode 4, Happiness of All Mankind. This series has been absolutely incredible, stunning, whatever word you want to use to describe it. Just been great. I cannot wait to dive back into it.
Yeah, it's been pretty powerful. We've seen, all the lengths that they've gone through to try and save the whole world pretty much. And so I'm definitely ready, willing, and able to dive right back into it.
Yeah, Answer really nailed it as far as his choice of words. Powerful, I think, is probably the best way to describe this series. It has been fantastically done, and the way they've delivered the story up to now is powerful. I mean, that's the perfect word for it. So, as I've said previously, I don't like using the word I'm excited to watch this, but I'm intrigued, and I'm looking forward to continuing the story.
Looking forward to this next chapter of what they are going to bring to us, what is dramatized, what's not. Either way, it is fascinating to see what the crew did with this. That being said, let's go! It's Cal. He's like, what's going on here?
I have a job. Don't cause trouble.
Trouble? You're not the first soldier to stand here with a gun. Then the Great War. More soldiers, more famine, more bodies. After all that I have seen. So I should leave now because of something I cannot see at all. No.
That was a lot.
Holy man.
It's time to go.
Oh, she does not give a
Please stand up now.
You don't think he's gonna...
I think he'll take out... Actually, you know what? I don't even remember, but...
This is your last warning.
Oh, it's the cow.
It's time to go.
Damn, what an open.
Yeah, I mean, imagine living there your whole life.
And you've seen it all. You've seen everything.
Especially at that, especially at that time frame, somebody who lived through what she lived through.
Yeah, I mean, from 1900s on, early 1900s.
I mean, yeah,
literally.
early 1900s. She saw the Great War, World War II. I mean, just so much that she's lived through. 4 months, okay.
So we took a nice jump now.
Now, what kind of shape is she going to be in?
She might be on the surface, okay, but what's going on with the baby?
Oh, close to something.
I think a piece of graphite. A bike?
A bike.
Yeah.
How would that even... How would a bike have...
Logasov. I'll meet him there.
It's interesting they held that shot. Smoking cigarette.
The atom is a humbling thing.
Wow. It has to be a real photo.
Yeah.
The debris on the roof is graphite from the core itself. Back into the reactor, it'll kill anyone who gets near it. You can see the roof is in 3 levels. We've named them. The small one here is Katya, 1,000 Rontgen per hour. Presume 2 hours of exposure is fatal.
Moon rovers.
Lunacard's STR-1s. They're light, and if we line them with lead, they can withstand the radiation.
We couldn't put a man on the moon. At least we can keep a man off a roof. Robots only.
What about this large section here?
Masha. 12,000 Rodkin.
Even our lunar rovers won't work on Masha. An amount of gamma radiation penetrates everything. The particles literally shred.
It would be fair to say that that piece of roof is the most dangerous place on Earth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just understating it still.
What do we do?
That's what we wanted to ask you.
What's Barry gonna be doing here?
That's not what you want to see rolling up.
No.
Not at all.
I suppose everybody's got to have bottled water. You can't
Yep.
be drinking well water.
Yeah, you can't be touching anything there.
Oh, that's the commode.
Yep. Was it just the MREs people can only do, or was that kind of?
I would assume it'd have to be food that came from someplace else.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah.
someone let me know on that one. Like, was it? How did they eat? MREs or?
And as soon as you use something, one of those boxes, you gotta throw them out. Gonna burn them.
I mean, this design for this so far is outstanding.
This is going to be the work camps where the 750,000 men are going to get to work.
10th, 181.
It's all right. It's free.
It's a little early.
Wait, so that wasn't water?
I guess not. I
I
guess it
guess
was
that
all
was
vodka, I
water.
guess.
Sorry, folks.
Bacho.
Pavel.
Showers, food. Those guys, they dig up the ground. Those guys, they cut down trees. Those guys, they evacuate people, I think, like villagers.
What about them?
I don't know them. Them.
What do you want?
Give me an egg basket.
No, I've only got the one.
Give me the fucking basket. He's with me. You understand? Nobody with them. We make these from lead scrap. Put it on under your bowls.
Now?
No, you can wait until the radiation gives you... Yes, now.
Oof.
Over your clothes. Shit. You, me, that ugly Armenian, and the 10th Garo. We do animal control.
Animal control.
Oh,
Yeah.
take them
Everything.
But it's not hard. They're mostly pets. They're happy to see you. They run right up to you. Bang. You load the bodies on a truck, dump them in a pit, bury them in concrete, then we drink as much vodka as you want. Plus 1,000 rubles. Let's go get you a gun.
I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, you don't even think about that. People's pets had to go, so they come running up to you and gotta take them out.
Just these shots like this, the way let's hold the camera on the chair for an extra second. It just adds so much drama.
I need to see the following documents. They're listed as permission only. I'm working for the Central Committee.
Comrade?
She can have that one.
Oh. We don't want anybody having too much information around here.
Thank you, comrade.
Jesus. Yeah, don't let the scientists do their work.
Well, that's how they ran things.
Protect the state secrets. Don't let scientists do their work.
Oh, they gotta destroy all that. That's right.
Yep, everything. Trees.
All of it.
Must be something that kills all the trees they're dumping there. Oh, who knows what kind of chemicals those were?
Yeah, no kidding.
And you got these shots.
Yeah. Oh, there's the rovers.
There's the lunar rover. Yeah.
It was just, they put all that lead on there. I'm surprised that doesn't make it heavier and maybe fall through, but.
Signal.
Acceptable. Running onboard diagnostics.
Tell me when we're ready to move it.
To think that's what we put on the moon. I'm not that one.
The Central Committee have informed me that they may have found something that could work up there from the outside.
American?
Of course not. It's a German police robot. West German, so as you can imagine, that wasn't an easy conversation to have.
They wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
Begin. Can we move it?
Oh, it's not like when he sent it up to the moon where he had to wait,
Wait.
what, how long? Like 7 minutes or something like that to get it to do anything?
Yeah.
Well, hey, what's that? Smile.
Well. It's got so much shit to push in.
This guy.
Not great, not terrible.
When you gave the order,
Order, what order? Topped it off, caught it out, Akimov pressed it. Was the only good decision they made, incompetent morons.
can you confirm that the reactor exploded after they attempted to shut it down?
How do I even know it exploded, huh?
Is he still sticking to that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, our pictures of the reactor core exploded.
It's about the operation of RBMK reactors under extreme conditions.
So?
The names of the authors have been redacted, and 2 pages have been removed.
Well, the state must protect its secrets, comrade. Dare suggest otherwise.
They made a mistake. They didn't redact the table of contents.
Whoops. I mean, forcing people to work doesn't make them thorough.
I have no idea what would have gone here. Void coefficients have nothing to do with AZ5. There, now you can go.
You're not even curious.
What for? Oh, you think the right question will get you the truth. There is no truth. Ask the bosses whatever you want, you'll get the lie. I will get the bullet.
Oh, she's gonna leave? She's not gonna press him harder?
Hey, if this was Detroit, maybe we could keep pressing them. Another shot of the cigarettes in the ashtray.
They keep showing that. It must, symbolize maybe Chernobyl kind of burning out or still going, whatever. It's kind of vibe I get.
I mean, it could be the irony of people so concerned about radiation and this major thing that happened to their health, yet actively throughout the whole show they're smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
That's the way
That
I
was the
take
time
it.
too.
Yeah, they didn't know that it was, bad for you necessarily, I don't think.
Well, as bad as it is
Yeah.
in the 80s, yeah. That's the vibe that I get from that.
Yeah,
It's
it was
kind of the irony of the whole situation. Of all the things that I remember from, or that I don't remember, rather, from watching this series as an animal person, this is what I ironically do remember.
I only have 2 rules. 1, don't point this gun at me. That's easy, right? You can point it at this piece of shit.
Jeez.
If you hit an animal and it doesn't die, keep shooting until it does. Don't let them suffer. Or I'll kill you. Understand? Then we're ready.
I mean, just walking around with those things between
the
their
egg
legs,
baskets.
that's going to really,
Yeah.
I mean, it
Well,
can't hurt.
Yeah, but people were ducking in cover under desks back in the day,
Once we start, they'll run inside where they feel safe. So we go door to door. Okay?
Oh no, they're gonna show all this, aren't they? Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be able to handle that.
Hey, do your job. Door to door.
Now, the one thing that I will say about this, one, they made it very clear that he didn't want the animals to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I do remember, like I said, I don't recall a lot from this series, but the one thing that I do recall reading online afterwards is when you're watching this and you see how difficult this is, please consider the amount of radiation these dogs had.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
how they would have eventually.
Yeah, there was no option. You had to do it.
And this was, this, for as graphic as this is and as hard as this is to watch, this was the mercy for these dogs. This was, I mean, we saw what happened to the
Yeah, you see what
humans.
happened to the people.
So
a couple of days.
slowly but surely that was going to happen to them, and this was the absolutely the humane thing to do. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, guys. I couldn't do it.
Go away. Go.
Oh, man. Don't show the dog. Don't show the dog.
He already did once.
Yeah, he just injured it.
Damn it, they're showing it.
Oh, he's gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Don't let them suffer. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Sorry. You're dragging that to the truck.
Now you see why those guys are drinking vodka.
The happiness of all mankind.
What?
Our goal is the happiness of all mankind.
I'm happy. I'm happy every day.
I sound convinced.
Back to work. Come on.
But you got to believe that thing's going to run into some heavy concrete. It's not going to be able to push.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it's not exactly a D9 cat or something.
No, even a lot of this stuff, it's only going to be able to push so much.
Yeah.
No, they got a little path going there.
Well, they're doing it nice
I
and
suppose.
easy, though. You don't do too much at once.
And I suppose the big pieces of concrete you don't need to get off. As long as
Yeah.
you can go around them. But like in that, how are you going to go around that, you know? There's not a blown out section of the wall.
Gosh, this is crazy.
You almost wonder what would the harm be in like dropping some kind of explosive on it at this point.
I'm sure.
Just opening it all up and
I'm sure they considered that.
caving
yeah.
it in.
Remember, the other reactors are still in there.
Yeah.
It's here.
This is what our what they got from West Germany.
Look at these guys right there. Just no masks, no nothing. Just walking
Yeah.
around.
Well, they know they don't do anything.
Easy now, careful.
Well, and he said that their time is...
Yeah.
5 years.
What's the gentleman's name?
Joker. Is it ready?
It's ready.
Coincidentally, Barry's in here.
Yeah.
Funny how that turned out. The one episode that he focused on, they introduced the Joker. That's just a funny coincidence.
Jesus, look at the graphite up there.
Yeah.
Motor's good. Signal's good.
All right, let's take this easy. Forward 1 meter, reverse 1 meter.
Forward 1. Reverse 1.
They lost the signal.
Oh, no.
Did it burn up already?
Already?
Did you lose the signal?
Everything's done. Already.
It's not the signal, it's the vehicle. It's dead.
In a minute.
Means it's way worse than they thought.
Gorbachev, tell them!
Jeez.
The official position of the state is that a global nuclear catastrophe is not possible in the Soviet Union. They told the Germans that the highest detected level of radiation was 2,000 Roentgen.
Well, that's why.
Give them the propaganda number.
That's why it didn't last.
That robot was never going to work. You need a new phone.
Wow. Gosh, I can't. So I still am behind on. I still got to catch up on all the Craig Mazin podcast that he did with HBO.
Yeah.
But when I get to that episode, this episode 4, I can't wait to see what he says about that scene.
What if we don't clear it?
We have to clear it. If we don't clear the roof, we can't build a cover over it.
That's true.
There's 12,000 Roentgen. We need twice the radiation from the Hiroshima bomb.
First of all, we've already used most of the lead we had to line the
Now,
truck.
there's lead sheeting around the instruments in the other reactor buildings. The soldiers are stripping it with their armor.
Are you serious? Even if we're still talking about boiling metal in a helicopter, and it's lead, Boris, it'll weigh a ton.
I mean, but still, it's worth a shot.
We've got high caliber bullets, exploding bullets. They wouldn't just ricochet, they'd push.
You want to shoot exploding bullets at an exposed nuclear reactor?
Well, I was going to blow the roof, so.
Yeah.
It was so easy to put out the first time.
Rubber bullets? Shoot rubber bullets to knock it off?
Bio-robots. What was that?
We use bio-robots. Ben.
We heard how long they'll last.
Oh, he's becoming more desensitized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Desensitized real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think the gravity of what you're doing is finally taking hold of them.
Where do they get their food?
They eat the chickens. And they eat each other.
Yeah, you're talking 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a ton of them have passed already.
Door to door.
Yeah, they didn't put that line in there for no reason. I think he's thinking ahead a little bit.
Puppy yelps.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You don't hear me? I'm talking to you. Just go outside.
There they are eating. I wasn't even thinking of like the evolution to get to the viewer on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, so we're going to show them animals, and then we're going to show them puppies.
Yep.
Damn. I think they're doing a great job too showing fallout, regardless if it's dramatized or not.
Right.
For at least for the show here.
Yeah, I mean the show is so good. I'm not going to nitpick accuracies on what really happened versus what's being shown.
Holy shit.
Черный ворон я нет. Черный ворон. Что ж ты вьёшь? Черный ворон я нет.
All right, so we started in August, September, now we're in October.
Do you understand your mission as I have described it? These are the most important 90 seconds of your lives. Commit your task to memory, then do your job.
They're wearing lead armor.
Yep.
They got 90 seconds, and then every person does 90 seconds, and then they're completely done.
Well,
I wonder how often they go back.
I think it might be just a one-shot deal.
Not all of their body is covered.
Right.
Well, right, yeah. But even he said 2 minutes up there would be fatal. So they're
that was on the most dangerous third roof.
You return immediately. Drop your shovels in the bin and proceed down
I
the
thought
hall.
they were still in the top one, but we'll find out.
While on the roof, throw your debris over the rail. Do not look over the rail. Is that clear? Very well. On my mark, ready.
Yeah, it must be the most dangerous roof, the third. Because that's the one that their German robot didn't work on.
Look at all that.
Oh, right into the core.
Oh.
Well, they're gonna get that one together. Don't touch
Don't
it.
grab
don't
it.
touch it. Don't touch it.
Don't fall.
Hi, guys. All right.
The way he kind of stumbled there a little bit, I was wondering how that was going to play out.
I feel like this is actually almost damn near 90 seconds that they're showing us.
The way they're doing the sound is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he is slowing down. I was a little off on my timer, but I think that was a 90-second straight shot. Oh, did he just...
Did he touch it on his knee? His foot's caught.
Oh, no.
It's caught under the rebar. Ah.
So not working out good for him.
Oh, no.
Comrade soldier, you're done. Time to go.
Oh,
She's
it's
going
time.
into labor now.
Oh, wow, we went through a fast timeline in this episode.
Mm-hmm. They had the truck going this way, the shot slowly panning that way. Just the way they're shooting this is just incredible.
Sorry for all this. We needed to speak to you somewhere without you.
What are they asking you to do?
Tell the world what happened.
Well, then you'd better know what happened.
Now the first episode's starting to make sense.
Believe me when I tell you that I had no idea it could cause an explosion. None of us knew.
None of you knew what.
Wait, what?
Is he the author?
The operators pressed AZ5, but instead of the power going down immediately, for a brief moment, it went up.
How is that possible?
Well, this is the very question posed by a colleague of mine named Volkov. He's the one who wrote this article.
Oh, close.
The reactor runs at low powers, notoriously unstable, prone to swings and reactivity. Under normal circumstances, the control rods can compensate for that.
Under normal circumstances, the Chernobyl staff stalled the reactor during the test.
The control rods have graphite tips that displace water and steam.
So the reactivity doesn't go down, it goes up dramatically.
Why on earth would they press that button?
They didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because the floor will not lead to an explosion unless the operators have pushed the reactor to the edge of disaster.
So it is their fault?
Yes.
But not only their fault.
No.
They were doing as they were instructed.
We can make a deal with the KGB. You'll leave this information out in Vienna. They quietly let us fix the remaining reactors.
Deal with the KGB, and I'm naive.
Wow. That's fair.
Do you know the name Vasily Ignatenko?
No.
He was a fireman. He died 2 weeks after the accident. I've been looking in on his widow. She gave birth, a girl. The baby lived for 4 hours. They said the radiation would have killed the mother, but the baby absorbed it instead.
Oh. You are the last of 3,828 men. You have performed your duties perfectly. I wish you good health and long life. All of you are awarded a bonus of 800 rubles.
I serve the Soviet Union. Thank you. I serve the Soviet Union. I serve the Soviet Union.
Thank you.
I serve the Soviet Union.
Thank you.
They had to climb up there to debris blow all the way up there.
I serve the Soviet Union.
Must have.
I serve the Soviet Union.
No, they're holding up a, yeah, almost like a victory flag.
I mean, my mind was thinking that it did, but I guess I should have thought of that too.
I just can't imagine this essentially works project that they took on to get rid of all those trees, all that land, all those animals.
Damn. This is heart-wrenching.
No, she has nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and I guess it all starts with the title, you know, the happiness of mankind, if not necessarily the happiness, but, you know, survival for their country, for future generations. I mean, that's what everybody was thinking about, or that's what they were being made to think about, if you catch my drift on that one. So there was a couple of interesting scenes in here. I think there was kind of three big stories going on. The one of, should they tell what's really going on in Austria, or should they try to go through the KGB and see if they'll let them fix the reactors? You know, that's a gamble that they're going to have to take, because they know if they go and tell, I mean, everyone in their family, everybody they know are probably out of the picture. On the other side, can the KGB be trusted to let them go in and fix what's needed? We clearly saw that they have a problem with the truth and letting failure get out, I guess, if that's a good word for it, and, you know, to be able to make these repairs. Now, I got to believe that Gorbachev will be on the side of fixing it, because, again, we didn't see him in this episode, but in the previous episodes, they kind of portrayed him on the side of doing whatever had to be done to fix it. So we don't know exactly how that might play out, and I don't know how the final episode is going to play out either. So I thought that was kind of a big pivotal scene they're going with. The other one, of course, is with Barry. That's how I know him, but I didn't catch his name. I know it started with a P. Is the character's name in here? Petrov or something along those lines. But anyhow, because I think they only showed his name like once. But what he had to go through, now it started off with taking out the dogs and the animals that were running around in the villages, in the cities. Pavel, okay. But the way I kind of took that, and the way the brilliant performance was done by Barry, absolutely brilliant. He told the whole story with his face, but he was asking, what were the dogs eating? What do they eat after there's no food? Well, they eat the chickens and then they eat each other. And the way I took that and maybe I'm way off base here, I'd love to hear what you folks think as well as you guys, but the way I took it as, Pavel was thinking to the future, are the dogs what people are going to eventually become? And am I going to eventually have to go around in villages and cities and do this to people? That's kind of the way that I took it, and what he was maybe thinking about, because the number of shots they had in there, the way things were filmed, the story told with his face, that's kind of the direction I was led to believe he was thinking he might have to go. And then, of course, the kind of the final scene there was with the baby absorbing the radiation. Only lived for 4 days. Now look, we all 4 hours. Yeah. Now look, we all kind of saw the earlier episodes and we were just like, no, don't go in there. You're too close to the radiation. Don't do that. And they of course had no idea it was that dangerous. And then eventually they find out. And that's kind of the whole task that our characters have to figure out is, what's the risk? Again, it started in the first episode. how many lives are worth a lie, or something along those lines, I think was kind of the original line from the first episode. And
what's the cost of telling lies?
Yeah, what's the cost of telling lies? And I think that was kind of interesting in this one, how we had those 3 different stories going in their separate directions, kind of making you think of all the different levels of what the costs were. So another fantastic episode. Of course, the actors, writers, set design, I will give them all the praises in the world every episode, because you incredibly felt like you were there. The actors told an amazing story with what the writers gave them. So just amazing.
Yeah, this was, once again, very powerful. We got to see all sides of it, not just like trying to clean up all the debris from on the top of all the buildings, to what, you know, Pavel had to go around doing to animals. Because, I mean, you don't really think of that, but they had to. They had, like you said earlier in the episode, they had to get rid of all the forestry, get rid of all the plants. We saw with the bulldozers pushing up all the, I didn't quite see what vegetable or fruit or what
cabbages.
They had to rip that all up, because that's all contaminated. That's not going to be any good. You can't have any of the water. All the water is there in bottles. And then with Pavel, and then Pavel, Garo, and Bacho, you can see why they drink all the vodka, because look what they have to go and do. Those are people's pets. Those their whole thing, and they had to leave them behind, obviously, because remember they said you can't bring anything with you that you can't carry in a suitcase. That included all the animals, so then you don't think about that, and they just have to go around door to door and take out dogs, cats, birds, anything that they saw. And then we saw they got whole bunch of concrete dumped on them because they didn't want the radiation to continue, and you had the cannibalism, so that's also not going to be good for any of the dogs either. So it's just powerful in that sense that we had all that. And then even with Ludmilla, is that how you say her name? With having the child, and it only lasted 4 hours, you know, and you could see that, you could see with that, in that instance, how she was sitting there, like she understood what was going to happen if she was going to go see her husband. She was going to get infected, but she didn't care. But she loses her husband, and now she loses her child, so now she's left alone. So, like, the one thing she had to remind her of her late husband is now gone as well, so now it's just her by herself. So what's going to happen with her in the final, you know, miniseries episode, I don't know. And then hopefully they got everything cleared off. 90 seconds. Saw the one guy's boot ripped, so we needed to know. I mean, got to say nothing good happened with that. So I'm just wondering, because I don't know the story, so I'm wondering what Valerie is going to actually say at this conference.
In that scene when he said, "You're done, soldier," how did you take that?
See, I'm thinking he was saying you're done because this was because I think they only did it once.
Yep.
I think that was all they could afford to do, was just once.
Because, like, he kept falling on the graphite.
But then when he said you're done, soldier, it was more powerful, meaning because we saw what happened to him. He fell in the water. He had his boot ripped. So he was saying you're done in a sense that you're done, but we all can see it as, no, you're done, and your life expectancy is cut way down, especially if he got any inside of him. So, yeah, very powerful episode, and we got one more to go to see, because I'm intrigued by what Valerie does.
Yeah, so with that kind of what you were mentioning there, the way I kind of took it was like a double meaning, like you are done, but you're also done with this job. So I thought that was a great way, and if I'm even close to this, I thought that was a great way of the writing to say, we don't need to show you what's coming after, because we can just emphasize it and have you think. Kind of, it's that subjectiveness, right? So I thought that was great. If that was truly what they were going for, I don't know, but maybe. With this whole episode, I thought they did a great job of conveying a lot more emotion in this one with Fallout now. I feel like this was the chapter of, we're going to skim the timeline here and there, because we only have 5 episodes at 5 hours apiece. So now we're going to kind of advance the timeline, but also show you the after effects of the Fallout now of, like, hey, not only do the trees got to go, all these buildings, this land, this water, the animals, like everything has to be kind of pretty much wiped out at this point. So prior to the other ones, we were seeing like in the events and then slightly after the events. Now I felt like this was the episode to kind of, for Craig to kind of paint a very fast picture of things that he may have grabbed through whatever information he could grab and then throw it in here, and he did it very well. Because again, especially with you get the emotion from the dog. I don't know if it made the cut or not, but they set it up for the dogs. Then, of course, the final gut punch from that part of the story. Well, now we got to introduce puppies.
No,
like that's hard. Then we get the story, and I'm terrible at saying names, so I'm going to say the actress's name, Jessie Buckley's character, the wife. We get the sad events of what happened after the birth. Again, sometimes I'm more of the road of let's see it, show it, and you guys can chop it up real quick and fast and give it, deliver it with music, and it can just be all that magicalness like they just didn't hear. A lot of this was expressions and how to convey the emotion through the expressions to us through the TV here. Again, brilliant job, well executed. The ending between Valerie, Boris, and Emily Watson's character, Yelena. Yulana. By the way, Emily Watson's crushing that too. And the way that she came in with and again, I'm just going to go off of what's here. I'm not saying this is 100% factual. It's dramatized. I'm just going off of what they have here, folks. The way that she came in with the documentation, saying, hey, guess what? I have it minute for minute, sometimes even second by second. Like the amount of work that her character in this story that's presented to us is delivering as many results as she can possible. But then Boris and Valerie, saying, hey, we got to play to the to the rules of what they expect.
Yep.
But then, I 100% understand where Emily's coming from now, saying, whatever with our lives, we got to save more.
Yeah, they could have 16 more of these happen.
Yeah,
it's
and then doubling.
Yep.
We need to come out and do this. So, I mean, we already saw what happens to Valerie in the first 5 minutes of the episode, which now it's starting to explain more of the tapes. Probably, I'm wondering, obviously in the last episode we're going to get that timeline coming to a close, but I'm curious when he recorded those tapes to him saying see you later, and then when the trial was. Because if he did the tapes before the trial, now again, I don't know this.
Because they had that timeline in the beginning, I just don't remember what it was.
I think the beginning was
88. I remember.
I said I think the beginning was. I think it went back 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
I think it went. I think it went back just over 2 years. So, right now we're in December, so it happened
December of '86. So we were in '88 when whatever month.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm real curious to see that kind of come full circle now with Valerie and his story in here, because man, that duo or that trio, I should say, has been pretty impactful in this. Again, just talking about what they're delivering here, not actual true events.
Yeah.
Right now I'm not trying to dismiss that because it's a very important thing. But again, just going from what's here.
Yeah, we can't be expected to watch something and then fact check it immediately as we're watching it. We just have to react to what we're given and what the story is, whether some of it's dramatized, did happen, whatever. We're working with what we're given here.
Yeah, I mean, so I've said this before, just if you missed it. So I watched this right when it came out in 2019. Binge watched it in a very short period of time, but it was also at my home where I was, pretty distracted, dogs, phone, whatever. And if I'm being perfectly honest, there's bits and pieces that I remember from the first handful of episodes, but there's so much that I don't remember, and obviously I didn't absorb the story as I am now. I did very much remember the scenes with the puppies, so I knew, I knew that was coming. Obviously, I'm not going to tell these guys, I'll just wait. It gets worse. And as somebody who's had dogs my whole life, volunteered for a humane association, mostly working with dogs for years, that was really, really hard to watch. But I kept just reminding myself this was the humane thing to do. And I really, really loved that Bacho, played by Ferris, I love that he emphasized that we are not going to let them suffer.
Mhm.
And it was hard to watch, but you had to keep in back your head, like, okay, they suffered massive radiation. It's only a matter of time before they go through some terrible things. So for as difficult as it was to watch, you know, that was, I don't know, that was something that definitely stuck with me. The old lady, I thought milking the cow in the beginning was incredibly powerful. I don't think she knew quite how bad it was, but even if she did, I don't think she would want to leave. Obviously, she was very naive to the whole situation because she was milking a cow, presumably to process and drink the milk either for herself or for other animals. And of course, the milk would have been highly contaminated as well. So it was powerful. I mean, it comes back to, you know, just how reckless the Soviet government was with the lives of their people in the interest of maintaining this facade of being a world superpower, which we know now that they absolutely weren't. Like the entire Cold War, for the most part, was a massive facade on that side. And even forward, without getting into the things going on right now too much, we've learned that, you know, the and they don't need to be a superpower, right? Like, it's what for? You know, the Cold War, I mean,
If you have nuclear weapons, it doesn't really matter.
yeah, you know, but like that was what was priority to them, is the superpower. And look, it's not like the U.S. is innocent here. The whole space race is a giant question mark because of this perception of who has better technology. You know, the whole moon landing thing, did it happen, did it not? Who knows? But it was all about the perception of our technology and in the space race. And so, you know, I don't want to come across as like I'm just completely pointing a finger at, you know, the Soviet Union, saying you guys did crazy stuff in the interest of a global perception of power, because, you know, the U.S. did that as well, but at the cost of how many lives and how much. I mean, the second that it happened, it should have evacuated, it should have warned the people, it should have immediately taken precautions as far as the other reactors. I mean, this could happen. I mean, if this happens, you know, at 5 other places, I mean, how do you have the manpower, the resources? I mean, they can barely handle one. So I liked how they did jump forward. These guys talked about it a little bit, but it you know, the first few episodes were about just the mass devastation of this accident, like the scope of how bad it was. And now you fast forward and you see the effects of this starting to really play out.
Yeah.
And some of the terrible things that happened afterwards that you didn't necessarily think about. So the time jump was a good time jump. They didn't have to go 10 years in the future, but it hits hard. You know, everybody got very invested in Ludmila, I believe is her name, you know, from the get-go. Ludmila. And, you know, as Mason Quinn had said, every time she was with her husband, we were like, no, you know, and to have lost the baby so fast is absolutely tragic. And the way they shot that with the other mothers with their babies. I mean, it's, I will say, for as intriguing and as captivating as this story is, the way that this show is presented just hits you so hard. I think you could watch this in a documentary style, like, and have it not grab the emotions anywhere near as hard as they do as they present it like this. And we've all seen documentaries where they, you know, they have a very educational and informative feel, whereas this program, the way it's shot, the everything about it just hits you that much harder during the storytelling. And so it becomes not just a piece of information, it becomes something that it really conveys the gravity of everything that happened there. And so for as much as I express my sympathies to everybody that lived through this, I just equally want to express how impressed I am and gratitude really for the people who worked on putting this story together. I know we have one more episode to go, but I mean, what an incredible job. And I mentioned this in the last episode, the people who told this story Diamond Dave has mentioned Craig Mazin so much, and with Diamond Dave's back end work on this channel, which we can't ever praise him enough for that. While he's not, behind the scenes, chopping up a Hollywood movie and deciding what goes on the editing floor, Dave does a ton of editing work and a little bit more of the technical side of stuff. So I think while we, consume the content a little bit more, I think sometimes Dave has a better appreciation for the technical side of things. But just from a storytelling side, they've done a phenomenal job here. And I think it's fair to say that we'll all certainly, once we're done watching this, be looking for information, find out what's the truth, what was dramatized, and more information on this.
Well, and that's the beauty of movies and TV shows, isn't it, right? Because you can watch a documentary about this, but it's very sterilized. It's very much numbers. It's nothing that really grasps you. When you have something that's shown like this and you're seeing individual stories with special effects and makeup and real loss and things like that, it sucks you in more, and then it makes you want to go and find out more about it. Because look, we've all known about Chernobyl for how many years? Right. Any of us look into it? Not really.
No, I mean, it's
so that's where I think shows like this are incredibly important to get the story out there. Whether or not it's 100% accurate, that doesn't really matter. What matters is it grabs that interest. Then people will want to go find out about it.
That's why I think it was important they did those jumps in time to show how long the fallout has really been affecting the area. Even how many months later where they're still trying to push the graphite back inside the reactor to be able to try and minimize the radiation and be able to cover it.
Yep.
So I thought that was important.
And then hearing what their findings were of neglect, maybe that's the wrong word to use, but it's basically what it came down to, is their how it got all like that to be that one split second. So it was a bunch of time building up of doing half, we'll just say, of probably what was supposed to be done, or however they worded it in here.
Being negligent with the safety and everything,
and just that one.
That's all it takes.
It's amazing that it can happen. That any job could have some kind of mistake happen. And I'm going to take the nuclear out of this, right? Because that really did happen. But I'm just trying to relate it to any other mistake. Like if you didn't know and you kept going on, or if you did know and something bad could eventually happen, but you're like, oh, whatever, it's not going to happen during my time.
Yep.
Even then, it's just crazy to think about that, and then how just that one. Well, multiple instances built up to this today where over there is still affected and will be for X amount of time.
I think
it's just crazy to think about.
The craziest thing about this is, look, everybody knows that in factories and in work environment, there's a reason why, at least in the States, we have OSHA, right? Because if every work environment was safe and there was never any violations or anything, we wouldn't need an entire department that oversees that. And they knew from the previous report, I believe the year was 75, that there was problems with these RBK reactors. But when you're talking about nuclear energy, it's just it's different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. There's one thing to have on the job site safety, and there's been other shows, other movies, and stuff like that where they kind of highlight that, like, you knew this was faulty or you knew something was wrong. But in this case, it's nuclear, so whatever the safety issue is. It's not contained within a factory or within a town. I mean, you're putting an entire country, an entire world at risk for generations and generations to come. So the level of negligence here is just, mind-numbing. This isn't, somebody didn't strap on their safety harness when they were working on a roof. This is putting just millions of people at risk.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people would have that guilt, even God dang it, her name, Ludmilla. I mean, the guilt she has because she thought, oh, okay, I can be around my husband, I can handle the risk. Maybe she didn't even think about her baby, and she ended up being fine. It was her baby that took it, and so the guilt that she would have of doing that and the negligence that she had, I think it kind of shows how it goes all around to a lot of people who maybe didn't know or were negligent.
Yeah, and she was put in a terrible spot. I mean, if somebody
Right.
had burns from, heat burns like a fire, you would know that being close to them wouldn't cause you issues. Now, as he got progressively worse and the condition we saw him in before she passed, they had him behind plastic. She was warned numerous times not to get close.
Yep.
So it's like she ignored all the warnings. But at the same time, her husband was in, terrible pain. She didn't want him to die alone. And so she was put in an impossible position as well. So it's hard to point any sort of
Yeah, they certainly weren't told everything.
So once again, a powerful series. We've got one final episode of this, which I don't, like you say, I don't want to say I'm looking forward to, but I want to watch it. It's going to be, I think, even more powerful than the previous four. So for Diamond Dave, Appleton Oak, that's Mason Quinn. I'm, of course, Answer. We'll catch you on the next one.